welcome. Finish making up a character. At least one character. I think we're going to do another one. Here's our game world. I already made one character, so we're going to have a knight. I need to do his equipment real quick. I'm not going to do all the dungeon equipment or like adventuring gear for now, but go ahead and open this up. Okay, that's a fighter. Not. Abilities: Birthright Mount, Inspire. Horsemanship. Hi, Kosha. Hope the sound is okay. I think I should be coming through clearly. But if not, I can change my, put my Bluetooth headphones in. I'll try to wait for a few more people and then I'll actually get started with something. Yeah, okay, let me put my headphones in. fix the audio here. Bluetooth on. Oh, it's probably connecting to the computer, of course. Okay. Hi, Chris. Okay, hopefully now sound should be on. Um, Maybe a little bit better with the headphones. Um, okay, so doing Castles and Crusades. I'm going to try to do kind of a solo game here, but I have to just finish up a little bit of character creation. So I've got a knight, and I need to pick, his prime attributes. So basically what attributes he's going to have an advantage in. Um, it's rogue, assassin. Let's go to the table of contents. Um, let's see, knight page. No, although in this system you only need it like 12 to succeed on the D20, so it's not yeah, page 44. It's not so bad. Um, okay, so the prime attribute for the knight is charisma. So I should actually I'll mark that in. Got all my colored pencils. We'll mark that in red actually. Charisma, and then I think as a human, um, you get uh, 2 additional prime attributes. If you're another race, you get 1 extra prime attribute. Um, 'Cause we don't get any bonuses, and in my world, there's no like elves or dwarves or anything. Hey Charles, how's it going? Um, Human, choose an additional primary attribute for a total of 3. So we get 3 prime attributes. So I think for a character here, um, yeah, what would be good for the knight? Um, yeah, I think strength and probably constitution. His intelligence I rolled pretty high, but I think constitution would probably be more useful for a knight. So I'm going to do that. Um, and then how do we get our hit points? Oh, I already have the hit points, 10 hit points, right? Um, so that's that. And then just need to do a little bit of equipment for this character. And I'm not going to do every torch and all that stuff. Just going to give him like some basic weapons. So I think he'll get, um, oh, how much starting gold do I want to do that? You know what? Okay, so since there's a few people here, all right, so our scenario for this adventure is, let me move this out of the way here. So here's our world map, and so shift this a little bit. There we go. So our knight is from the kingdom of Jagalon, and he's been sent. He's a new knight here. He came from the Western lands, and he's been sent down the river. And this is the furthest out uh, Jagalonian base or city in Black Matic. This is like kind of a frontier town. And he's been sent to a new fort, probably, let's see. Well, okay, so these are all the steppe clans, and the Jagalonians are trying to make alliances with some of them. So they probably sent him pretty kind of far down the river, past the frontier town, up to this bend here. I never noticed that before that I drew that, but that makes a good spot, I think. So you got a bend in the river here, and they've set up an outpost. Um, and we'll say that this is kind of a narrow, fordable area of the river because with nomads, when the seasons change, they need to find new pasture lands. So we'll say it's in the early spring. So a lot of these guys, a lot of the nomads here are going to move up into here because there's good grazing in this part of the river. Um, and this is an opportune spot for building a trading post. And I did build a little, or draw a little, so we've got a fort, but it's pretty small, like 2 buildings on the inside. I'm not sure how big these hexes should be for the right scale. And then there's a stockaded village, a nomad village, that have gotten protection from the Jagalonians here in the fort. And it's kind of a mud brick fort, earth fort that I have in my mind. But there are some towers, and then we've got the garrison, just 2 kind of largish buildings on the inside. And so our knight is going to be sent to relieve the previous garrison officers, and he's going to be sent with a cleric. So I think we'll roll up a cleric too, and then they're going to be sent with a treasurer um, to Fort Strock, and the treasurer's not going to be like an adventurer. He's just going to be an NPC, kind of a bureaucrat. Um, oh, thanks. So I used brush markers for this, and it gives a nice, yeah, I think it does a good job. Um, I don't have them. Let me get them. Why not? Yeah, so this is the brand. They weren't very expensive. And my only issue is the color on the cap doesn't quite match what it comes out as. Um, but they're nice otherwise. I mean, no, they have, yeah, they're pretty nice. So, yeah, so here's our fort, and then we have Darya Gulkoi here, and it's Ohuhu. Oh, Ohu. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and draw. Let's see, how wide would the river be? Probably not super wide, so I'm just going to see. We've got the bank of the river here, and yeah, that's the river. Um, and then this will be a kind of fordable river, and maybe, what would our first project be? Okay, let's roll a cleric first because our knight, uh, Shandor or Sandor, he's going to be um, accompanied with a cleric along with the treasurer. So let's go ahead and roll a cleric and get some dice going. And I got these green dice today, so, but kind of think these should be my Call of Cthulhu dice because they're green, but they kind of have a, I don't know, that kind of mysterious aura. Um, so we need 3d6, and I think I'm just going to roll straight through. So maybe our cleric won't have great, you know, great abilities. We'll see. Okay, that's a 1, so we'll re-roll that. 2, 5, 9. We'll take it. What should our cleric's name be? Um, hmm. Any suggestions from the chat? We can give the cleric a name, but okay, that was our strength of 9, so not a physically tough cleric, but that's okay. 5, 10, okay. We roll 1. Uh, 13, so our dex is going to be 13. Hmm. Yeah, I think Lucian is a good name for a cleric. Lucian. Um, he's also going to be human. And go do his constitution 3, 8, 13. Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, yeah. If Mike was here, well, she might come. We'll see. There would be a rapid fire names. Okay, I lost my train of thought while rolling. What did I roll? I think it was a 15, but okay, let's just start over. 5, 8, 13. All right, now intelligence, 4, 10, oh, 16. Okay. All right, well, both our characters here are going to be brainiacs. All right, wisdom I think is the attribute for a cleric in Castles and Crusades. Let me look here. Cleric on page 27. Hmm. Okay, yeah. Prime attribute is wisdom. Um, so, well, I don't want to metagame because maybe our cleric is just not that good, and that could make it interesting. Maybe he's just not a very good cleric. Maybe that's why he's getting sent out to the frontier. Okay. All right, I already forgot my train of thought with rolling, so let's go ahead and do the wisdom. Uh, 4. You know what? Yeah, let's keep the 1. 5, 6. That might be too low, I think. I don't want to fudge dice rolling, but well, that would be 2 ones, which normally you would get rid of. So, all right, 4. Oh, that's another 1. 9 and 15. Okay, so maybe not so. All right, wisdom 15, and finally charisma 2, 6, 11. And then for his hit points, I'm going to roll for his hit points. It's a D8 hit points. And okay, 4. We're going to keep that. Um, all right, and then what abilities do we have? So it's not really clear on the camera, but let's see. We've got spell use, ability to cast divine spells with wisdom of 13 to 15, 1 extra first level spell. Okay, that's cool. We've got wisdom 15, so we get an extra first level spell. Turn undead. Right, make a note of that. Yeah, that is a good name, Charles. We might add, if we roll another character, we might make another character depending on what encounters we get. Because I don't have the Castles and Crusades like Keeper Game Master's book, but I have the D&D 3.5 book, and this has like a bunch of encounter tables, which is what I'm going to use it for um, as we play through. So, um, all right, gonna find the encounter tables. We'll get to that when oh, here we go. Adventures. Okay, this is dungeon encounters. Got um, dungeons. Where's the wilderness stuff? That's what I'm interested in because we're kind of out in the wilderness, but there could be a dungeon maybe. Um, Forests, uh, plains. Oh, and we do have an encounter table for different terrains. So, okay, we'll get to that in a second. Let's finish building Lucian here, and then. But we do have the encounter tables. turn undead, and then we have um, weapon selection. Choose special deity weapon if desired. Um, well, we don't really have that in my world, so I don't. That's not going to be relevant. Um, okay, clerics can wear any armor. That's always good. Um, spells. Cleric uses divine magic. Cleric spells per day, so we get 3 0-level spells and 1 first-level spell. So turn undead. And how many times can we do that a day? Special attack. Um, and I think we'll give him for weapons. Um, give him the classics for a cleric. Crowbill hammer, light hammer, light or heavy mace, or morning star. I think we'll give him a light mace. And in Castles and Crusades, when I played this week with a group online, the you didn't really the starting gold. You can't really load up on weapons because, like, as a rogue, I made a rogue and I could only take um, like 2 weapons. Like I got a rapier and like a defensive dagger. Um, anyway, yeah, we'll give him a light mace, and then for armor. Okay, let's probably look at the spells quickly. All right, these are the wizard spells. Hopefully, we can just pick some of these quickly. Um, Druid. We want cleric though. Here we go. Cleric. So create water. Actually, that would be useful in this world. So we're going to give him create water. Create water. Mm, endure cold heat. Actually, first aid. Yeah, that would be useful. First aid. Probably what his job would be. And purify. Okay, good night, Kasha. Love you. Um, and I think discern magic would be good. Well, there's not a lot of magic in my world, so I think endure cold slash heat. And then first level, yeah, I think we're going to do bless, but there's an asterisk next to bless. Okay, but we'll come to that later. All right, let's look at our knight again, and oh, that's paladin. What are the knight weapons? Probably kind of your standard fantasy stuff. Yeah, I think that's what his purpose is going to be because, they had to get from the coast down here. So, they probably needed someone with healing, even though they took probably a riverboat, but still could be dangerous. Um, Weapons allowed, any, except code of conduct limitations. Armor allowed, any. Okay, that's easy enough. All right, what kind of armor would these guys be issued? Um, I think they'd probably just get chainmail because they're going out on the steppes and it's really hot, and you probably don't want to be going around in plate armor like that. So, um, where's our equipment? Um, yeah, I'm just going to do a weapon and armor for both of these guys for now, and shields if they need that. Um, okay, so our knight. Uh, Armor is going to be, well, for our cleric, let's see. All right, I'm going to try to give this a little bit of flavor. So our cleric, yes, he can fight, but he's not like a really tough kind of cleric. Uh, yes, exactly. Um, yeah, so our cleric, he's just going to have padded armor, I think. Um, he can probably fight a little bit, but he's not a kind of tough guy like that, not a real like a trained soldier. So yeah, padded armor is AC +1, 10 pounds. And then our knight, let's see, weapons and armor. Um, yeah, that's true. Armor, I think he's going to have some of these armors. I actually don't know what there's like Kui, Kuye, Boye. Not sure what that is actually. Polish Hussar armor. No, that would be a little too much. Our knight's not that wealthy. He's kind of and also like wouldn't be super practical because the step guys would just attack him and he would get pinned down. I think he's just gonna have a brigandine. Um, Pretty sure that's kind of like a lighter, like studded armor, if I'm remembering correctly, um, or a mail hauberk. Um, Yeah, I think he's going to have a Brigadine. We'll try that out. Um, Brigadine AC +4, and that's 25 pounds. And then, yeah, I think it might be. Uh, yeah, that would sound right. Yeah, that sounds what the Qui Boyer is. That would make sense from the words. Let's see, a shield. I think he's going to have a medium steel shield, so that'll give him. Um, AC plus 1 and 10 pounds. And hang on a second, see if I can turn the lights on a little bit more in here. Weirdly, this apartment was not built with overhead lighting in the living room or bedroom, so I don't have that. Um, Actually, I know what I'll do. All right, that should be a little better. Okay, all right, that should be a little bit better. Um, and for a weapon, I think he's just going to have. Hmm, there are options for swords. Yeah, I think he's just going to have a long sword. Okay, I think that should be all the stuff. That's all their equipment. Um, and then, yeah, I think that's all their equipment. So those are our two characters for now. We might make another one. Um, so yeah, that's a good idea, Charles. Yeah, so I think our knight. Yeah, that's a good idea. Dagger for um, let's see, dagger. Yeah, 1d4. Oh, and I guess he can throw it because it's got 20 feet range, so maybe he could do that if he needs to. Um, I don't want to load up on equipment for our cleric because, like I said, in my mind he's not like a frontline cleric. He's got some armor and a mace, but it's sort of just self-defense kind of weapons. Um, but our knight is kind of the main army guy, I guess, military guy. Okay. Hey, Foxto. Yeah, so, okay, those are two characters. Now, do I need to roll? So, let's see. So, they're accompanying a treasurer to this fort. Let me move this out of the way for a second. So, they're going downriver here to from. So, well, okay, we could start this from here and kind of go down the river. Um, And we could say, let's see. So this doesn't have a precise scale. And to defend myself, old maps from the Renaissance and like did not really have precise scaling. So, okay, this is like an inch, about 2 inches. Also, I don't have a hex paper, or like a hex sheet, so I couldn't do that. Um, okay, so this is about, let's see, inch and a little over an inch and a half. We'll just say inch and a half. Well, actually, it's probably more because there's a bend in the river, so we'll just say 2 inches. And 2 inches, we'll say every um, quarter inch, we'll do an encounter check to represent the boat. All right, I think I have an idea of what we'll do this evening. Okay, so we're at the city of Black Matic. This is like a um, kind of a frontier town where all the the caravans that come from the Babarid Empire um, cross. They come out here. They bring goods here, and then the Jagiellonians, they send their manufactured goods down the river. They sell them to the steppe people here, um, and likewise, and the steppe peoples bring the nomads, and semi-nomads bring their animals and stuff to trade to the Jagiellonians. And the fort upriver, the new fort, uh, Fort Strock, they've come to give protection to a small settled village here, Daria Gokoi, and the treasurer, the knight, and the cleric have completed their 1 year tour, and they have, excuse me, they're being rotated out, and so Lucian and Sandor have to go down the river to meet um, to the new fort. And they are accompanying the treasurer, the new fort treasurer. What should we name him? Hmm. Could name him Clarence, but I feel like we should name an actual like adventuring character Clarence. Okay, well, we'll just call him the treasurer. NPC companion is the treasurer, and I'm going to go ahead and roll some stats for him. And let's see, how many hit points should he have? See, this would help if I had the. Well, what does it say? Actually, I could probably use what's in here. Maybe let's see. There's like a sample NPC in this book. Characters. I'm looking for the NPCs, adventures. Um, World building NPC classes. Here we go, 103. Now, this book should be pretty much compatible with Castles and Crusades for the most part because it is D20 based. So, okay. These are hirelings, NPC classes. Let's see, an adept. That's a wizard or cleric. Warrior. Experts. Okay, expert. All right, hit die, D6. Let's see how many hit points our treasurer has. 3. Okay, 3 hit points. And does give some. All right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we can use this because it's now we don't have fortitude, reflex, and will saves in Castles and Crusades, but he wouldn't have an attack bonus. Does it give his what his attributes would be? Skill points. No, that's fine. We only really need his hit points. You know, why not? We can just roll up some attributes for him real quick. But he will have 3 hit points. I think we should keep that because he's really not an adventurer at all. So, or I could just do 2d6. How should we do this? Because I don't want him to be as strong as the characters. So, yeah, we'll keep the ones in this instance. Yeah, well, our cleric and knight are his bodyguards, so they're accompanying him, and he might have some hirelings. Um, we might get some. Okay, 5, 11. Come on now. Okay, 17. All right, well, we'll keep it. We're just gonna roll. He doesn't have a class, so he's not gonna be okay. So that's a 4. Strength, Dex, Constitution, physical. Okay, so I guess he is kind of strong, but maybe he's just just because you work out a lot doesn't mean you're necessarily like good at fighting. 4, that's 8, and 11. Okay, there we are. Constitution 3. We'll keep the 1, 4. And that would be 10. And wisdom charisma. So 6, 12, 16. So yeah, if he's going to be a treasurer, he should be pretty smart. 3, 8, 9. 5, 9, 14. Okay. All right, what kind of character is he going to be? So he's pretty strong and not very coordinated, kind of low constitution, just sort of reflected in his hit points. That's true. Yeah, that's a good point, Chris. Pretty intelligent, which we want in a treasurer. Um, Not low wisdom though, but he does have a high charisma. So let's think about this. Um, So, okay, maybe he has good business sense. He's good at accounting, and he is charismatic to a point. So he's good at kind of getting his way. He is strong, so probably he likes to exercise a lot. Yeah, it could be a gentle giant. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, but not very coordinated. So yeah, yeah, maybe he's from like a farming community in the kingdom, and he had good skills, so the capital of Meyerling, they took him in and trained him to be a treasurer. Um, and he's pretty strong from his upbringing, but he's not really like a fighter at all. Okay, so he's going to be kind of weak. Um, so yeah, okay. So now we've got our treasurer. Still needs a name. We'll call him. Yes, and he can be trusted with money. So we'll call him. Uh, Man, where's Meandering Mike when you need him? I could, I could use one of those names. What about Divinicus? Yeah, that's a good name, Fox, though. Why not? Yeah, Divinicus. Okay. And he's not going to have any equipment. He's just going to have some kind of like robes, something light, light fabric for the heat, and no weapon or anything. Yeah, okay. So, all right. So we're in Blackmatic, and the kingdom has arranged for a riverboat to go down to Port Strock, and we said it's about 2 inches. So I think we can do it in quarters. So at each quarter inch, we're going to roll for an encounter and see what happens. And we are going downriver, um, and we'll say that because of the river, that's about as far as you can go each day, and then you have to stop. And yeah, let's see how this goes. I've never done something like this before with like a adventure game, so um, yeah. And we've been going for almost an hour, so hopefully this hasn't been too kind of boring, just flipping through the books. But all right, let's see what kind of encounters we can generate. I do have my Monster Manual 4, which has gnolls in it, which I like as enemies, because I think there will be some gnolls. Because in this world, there are like some fantasy monsters, but they're kind of uncommon. But they are around, and they are dangerous. So let me. Um, there is this adventure generator. I could do this, but I already came up with an idea. But this is useful, I think. We've got something at a table to generate adventures. Um, Maybe it is about the river. I'm not familiar with Cadfael, actually. Okay, treasures per encounter. This is treasure. We don't need treasure yet. Traveling merchants, so the characters could trade some items. Yeah, that's a good idea. Um, and just to save time for starting gold, I'm just going to say that for our player characters, the kingdom has issued them their kind of weapon, their combat equipment, and then because they're government employees, basically, they're just going to get a flat 100 gold for their starting gold. Um, and let's see, put that here. Well, I don't know, maybe our cleric has a vow of poverty. Okay, but this would be different because this is like kind of, uh, can be, yeah, yeah, so we'll have 100 GP as this kind of stipend from the kingdom for whatever equipment they need. Um, yeah, that's what I was. That's where I was going with that Foxto. Yeah. So money, and then the boat. So we will have. So the boat would have a crew and cantinas. Yeah. Um, so okay, how do we want to do this? So we're in Black Matic, and our characters are at the port, the river port, and the crew is getting ready to. They're making the arrangements and packing things up. And we'll say the boat has enough supplies already on it for everyone, including our three kind of our two adventurer characters, and then our treasurer, um, Divinicus. And yeah, so let's see what we have a we have a let's see, this is for dungeons. Do we have something like city encounters? There might not be. Knowing this is a Wizards of the Coast book, they probably would say, "Oh, you needed to buy our cityscape um, encounter book." Let's see. These are dungeons. Dungeons. Forest. Well, this is more like a plains, so we're not quite enough forest. Plains. This is terrain. Underwater. Yeah. Yeah, I don't. Well, I'm not going to be unrealistic. Black Matic as a frontier town would have that stuff, but our heroes are, they're strictly not about any of that. They would be fired if they were involved in something like that. So, um, urban. Okay, do we have some kind of encounter? Urban encounters. Table three. Here we go. Here we go. Yes, indeed he is. Because our character, they're going to both be neutral good, I think. All right, here we go. Urban encounters. Um, encounter check modifiers. This is exactly what I was looking for. Um, characters are unusually anonymous, -2. Characters are looking for action. So, not sure how much that applies because they're not really like looking for action. They're just kind of being sent. So I don't think that would apply to us here. Um, all right, well, let's just see if something they encounter something, and yeah, all right. So we've got a D20, and we'll say it's a small city though. It is busy, but it's not. It's kind of growing. It's like a frontier town, so we'll get a +1. So let's see. So that would be an 8. Okay, so they encounter an animal. Uh, what kind of animal would they encounter? The characters are set upon by animals in some way. The challenge could be anything from thieving monkeys to a rampaging escaped circus bear. Okay, so they're at the river port. They're kind of waiting. Things are a little uncomfortable because uh, Lucian and Sandor don't really know each other, and Divinicus doesn't know either of them, and they're just kind of waiting, watching the riverboatmen prepare, and then as they're waiting, it's kind of a large kind of oh, what's the word? Like a wharf area, a lot of ships coming in and out, and suddenly there's like some sheep. How many sheep? Let's see. Let's roll a gators or crocs. Oh, that would be a good one, Charles. I was thinking of sheep. Uh, well, let's see what happens because we might roll another encounter. So, all right, let's see how many sheep. So six sheep come running or stampeding down the wharf toward them. Uh, what do they do? All right, now I'm going to make some dexterity checks. Oh, and we forgot to pick prime attributes for our cleric Lucian, because that's going to matter for ability checks. So, all right, he's going to take wisdom as a prime. I think he'll do intelligence as a prime, and uh, yeah, probably constitution, because he's kind of a survival sort of character. So, yeah, we'll just do that and make that simple. Okay, all right. So the sheeps are charging. Let's do some dexterity checks. Um, and to succeed, they have to get an 18 or better, because that's not okay. We'll roll for Sandor. 2, so he fails. Lucian succeeds, actually. 18. It's going to be challenge rating 1, and he's going to get a +1 because of his level. Um, so, because I do have the a note of the bonus attribute bonuses here. So, yeah, 1 to 2. Okay, so we'll get a +1. Okay, so yeah, so Lucian he sees the sheep, he manages to kind of jump out of the way, uh, and then the sheep charge into Shandor. He's not really paying attention, and he gets knocked over. Um, and they crash into him. And then our treasurer, Divinicus, he also, that's an 8, he also gets knocked over. And then the sheep, what happens to the sheep? I guess they run off the end of this pier that they're sitting on, so they're on kind of a dock. The riverboat is to their right, and then there's another series of riverboats to their left. And the sheep run off the pier, and then they get and the sheep kind of, well, they just jump into the water. They're kind of dumb, and they end up running into the water. Uh, and then suddenly, behind them, a trader starts yelling at them, at Shandor and Divinicus, and pointing at them and yelling intensely. And he says, "How dare you? you made my sheep run off the pier. I can't believe this. This is ridiculous. Uh, what are you doing standing around here? There's no place for adventurers here. Uh, what do they do? So they're being yelled at, um, and what happens to them? See, this is why I wanted to do the random tables because I really could not have planned for something like this. Um, okay, what do we think? What should they do? Now, if our characters were like evil, they might just beat this guy up or something. But our characters are definitely not evil, and they're also, in service to the kingdom. So they definitely cannot like threaten him openly. Um, gonna go back to this encounter table. Um, so yeah, here we go. Okay, okay. So yeah, that's a good idea, Fox. So yeah, okay. So Lucian approaches the trader and says, this was an accident. My companions were completely blindsided. Please forgive them. Um, remember that, the Lord does not want us to jump to anger, but I understand. And um, Sandor gets to his feet and he says, "I will, I will help you get the sheep out. Um, I'll help you get them out of the water." So let's see how long this will take. And then our Divinicus, he is kind of annoyed, but he doesn't really say much. And he sees that Lucian is kind of handling this, so he's just going to uh, keep to himself. Um, and yeah, let's do a roll to see how long it takes, because Shandor can definitely like get the sheep out of the water. He's fit enough to do that, but how long would it take? Because I'm imagining the river boats are pretty. The dock is pretty close to the water because these are shallow draft river boats. So, all right, he's gonna roll. Let's see, probably be dexterity again because um, yeah, it's not exactly strength. It's more like kind of more finesse. So I'm gonna roll dexterity. So he's going to need an 18 for this. Nope. Okay. He does not succeed. So after an hour in the water, so Sandor, he takes his armor off, uh, and he's just wearing his regular clothes and takes his shoes off, and then he jumps in the water and tries to get the sheep out. But after about an hour, they don't do anything. I can't get to them. And in that time, the kind of other boats come around and try to um, and help and pick up the missing sheep and get them safely, but Shandor is not successful, and then he gets back on the dock and there's and he's just dripping wet. Okay, that was an interesting first encounter. All right, I need to keep track of the time. So we'll say it's in the morning that they're getting ready, loading the boat to depart. So we'll say that was 8 a.m. So we'll say day one, that was 8 a.m., and we are now on 9 a.m. Okay, 12, a contest in progress. Characters are invited to participate in or judge a contest of some sort. Okay, I think I know what we could do with this. All right, so still waiting around. It's kind of a hurry up and wait situation, and the a man approaches them and says that there is there is a contest of a mock sword battle in the uh, at the outside the tavern um, in 1 hour, and the knight we would be so pleased to have the knight come and judge it. And let's see. Okay, our cleric doesn't have detect alignment, so but I think he's going to be kind of suspicious. And he says he would caution. He says we don't have time for this. Our cleric says we don't have time for this, and Dominicus speaks up and says, "No, no, we can't do this." Um, and Shandor is not interested in doing such a thing. So that kind of annoys this guy, and he walks away, and he's dressed in kind of strange clothing. Doesn't really look like a tavern owner, and doesn't really look like someone who would be running a sword fighting contest. He's kind of got yellow orange, like a yellow orange tunic that's a little too fancy for this kind of place, and he kind of walks away in a frustration. So I'm going to make a note of that. We'll just call him the man in orange. Man in orange appears, but is rebuffed. All right. And we'll say that about a little after 9, so we'll say this interaction took about 15 minutes. They get on the boat and they begin the journey at around 9:30, and the oarsmen are rowing all day, and the boat kind of looks something like this. It's kind of like a galley almost, but yeah, there's the oars. I'm not going to draw all of them, but I think you'll get the idea. And for scale, Here's like a person. So our trio is on the boat, and they keep rowing. And all right, let's see what kind of thing we encounter. Maybe let's see if there's some kind of. Let's see. Okay. All right. So the boat stops for the first station, and the riverboatmen, they're not exactly fighters, but they can kind of handle themselves, but that's not really their purpose. Um, and they can fight decently from the boat, but the boat stops for the early evening at a um, on the riverbank. All the rowmen get out. So there's about maybe 15 rowers, um, and they push the boat up onto the bank and or tie it down, I guess probably, and then start for the night. And in the night, there will be, let's see, how many gnolls will appear to attack? One. Okay. Okay. Maybe just one. That makes sense actually. So one Gnoll slave taker approaches the camp, and what does he do? Well, he could try to steal, but I think if it's just one, he's kind of on a scouting mission. So he's just trying to see who's on the boat and who he might capture. Um, so let's see if anyone listens or can hear him. Um, and of course, by this point, it's been all day, basically. It's around, uh, we'll say they row for 12 hours. So it's around 9:30 p.m. once everyone's kind of settled in. Uh, one null slave taker appears. And okay, I've got the statistics here for myself. And if you don't know what a null looks like, this is what they look like. So they're kind of a wolf creature, and they one of them he appears and starts rifling through, um, kind of looking around, sniffing, literally sniffing around. And let's see if anyone listens and hears him. So um, our knight, Shandor, he is probably going to try to listen. So he's going to keep an eye out. And we'll see if he can detect anything. Nope, he does not detect anything. Um, and our cleric Lucian, well, he's not really a fighter so much. Hang on, I have to just check the battery on my phone just to make sure we're doing okay. Okay, yep. All right. So All right, so let's see if Lucian hears the knoll approaching, because it would be kind of an unusual, inhuman sound. Nope, he does not. So let me draw a little map here. And okay, so all right, so we've got our boat. That's we're going to do a easy map here. So our boat kind of lashed to the side of the riverbank. Got a riverbank here. Um, well, the scale's probably not exactly right for like an individual standing in one of these squares, but um, okay, I think you get the idea. All right, so we've got that. I should probably get like an erasable grid or something. But okay, so we've got that, and we'll say our, we've got like some of the guys have like some tents or something that they set up. The rest of the crew sit on the boat. And our Knoll, he is well. Okay, our heroes kind of fumbled their listening checks pretty bad. So we'll say that the I don't want to do this. Yeah, we'll say that the Knoll. Maybe he can't get on the boat. Maybe he doesn't like, he's kind of curious. So he's just going to like be in the camp. And our heroes are going to be in the same tent. So that's them there. Actually, I'll color code this. So we've got blue for our guy's tent. That includes Divinicus. So they're sharing a tent. We've got some of the crewmen are in tents here. And then we've got like a campfire. And our Knoll appears, and he's going to enter the tent of, well, let's do this. So 1 through 3, the Knoll will go into this tent. 4, 5, 6, he goes into the other tent. Okay, so the Knoll enters silently into the hero's tent, and he will get an attack. Pretty sure there's like attacks of opportunity in this. So let me look at that real quick. Surprise, here we go. Okay, Castle Keeper, which is me, determines if one or the other party is surprised. Okay, so if a party can be surprised, a wisdom attribute check is made by the individual in the group with the best chance of succeeding at it, or by each member of the party, individual or group individually. Check is successful. Okay, so the Knoll enters the tent silently. He's got his weapon at the ready. He's a slave taker, so he's probably ready to capture somebody. And we'll see if Lucian uh, can notice this as the Knoll enters the tent. And he fails. So um, so the Knoll will get a free round to attack. Now, because he's interested in slaves, so does he try to attack Lucian or does he try to capture them? Um, Yeah, he uses non-lethal uh, tactics. Mm, okay, I'm just going to keep playing, and he's going to swing at Lucian with his sword. Now, he's pretty tough, so he's going to get a +3 on this attack roll with his strength. So, all right, I guess we have to do this. So we are in the, do a little inset map. So we're in the tent. It's not that big, actually. Um, so we've got the knoll, do him in red. Probably should get another color, but I could use one of the markers maybe, but kind of been on a colored pencil kick. Okay, got our enemy in red, and then we've got, well, I'll do Dominicus as like a, since he's like an NPC, I'll do a triangle for him, and then we've got, do like a, like kind of like that, and then Shandor will be blue, blue circle, and then uh, Lucian will be a clear circle. Should be white, but I don't have a white colored pencil, obviously. Okay, so he's going to attack. Actually, a pretty spacious tent, but again, my scale abilities aren't that good. All right, so he's going to get an attack. That is a 6 +3 against Lucian's armor class, which is higher than that. 11. So actually, the gnoll does not hit. Whoops. So the gnoll enters, and let's say he tries to like kind of just strike Lucian bluntly. He misses, and that's the gnoll's free attack. And now we can go into initiative. So Castles and Crusades, we roll d10 for initiative. So um, all right. So first I'll do the gnoll. So that's 2 for the first round. So then we'll do Lucian 6 and Shandor 3, and then Divinicus 4. Okay, so Lucian's going to go first, and he will uh, swing his mace. Um, Sorry, I have to look at this because I do have to kind of modify some of this on the spot because, uh, yeah, so, we'll just stick with the high AC, and it might be challenging because this is a dangerous place, so what the heck. All right, so rolling with his mace, so he doesn't get a strength bonus to his attack. Um, 12, and that would be, yeah, hang on, let me just look at something real quick. D20, add bonus to hit plus any strength modifier. And I think our bonus to hit for the cleric is going to be 0 because we're at first level classes. Bonus to hit 0. Okay, so yeah. And no strength bonus, so we just get we just miss. And then Lucian gets to his feet and draws his sword. Or no, sorry, Lucian just went. Okay, now Divinicus. Okay, Divinicus is just going to use his move, and he's not a fighter, so he's just going to slip out under the tent, kind of, he's going to kind of roll out from under it, and he's just going to be there now, um, getting out of the way, and then Shandor is going to try to swing with his sword, and does our knight get bonus to hit on first level, which I feel like he should, because he has a combat class, but we'll see. Paladin. Nope, 0. Okay. So, yeah. 14. Plus his strength modifier, which gives him 16. No, sorry. Which gives him 15 and plus level, I think. No, bonus to hit and strength. So, yeah. So he swings with a sword, but it's like not really enough to get through the armor, but it almost is. And then now we do initiative again. This monster is pretty tough, so I don't know if I maybe planned this poorly, but I thought it might make things interesting if they face a tough monster immediately. Okay, so Noel is going to be a 2 again. Kinda, yeah, I'm playing Castles and Crusades. I'm doing a kind of solo game. So, alright, so Noel's going to be a 2 again, and then 4. Lucian is a 4. And then we've got Chandor's a 3 again, and then Divinicus is an 8. And, alright, so this new round, Divinicus is just going to keep getting out of there because he's just an NPC, non-combatant, so he's just going to keep running away. And then Lucian going to attack with his, well, does he have a spell that might work here? Probably not. Bless. Okay, yeah, actually, here's what he'll do. He's going to use his Bless, and hey, Telemachus, and he's going to use his Bless, and that will give, gotta check that. I think that gives a bonus to hit. Allies gain +1 to hit and +1 on saves against fear. So, yep, so he's going to do that. And I think that takes 1 round to cast. Let me see. Most spells take 1 round to cast. Comes into effect during the caster's initiative turn for that round. Most castle keepers make you announce at the beginning of the round whether you're going to cast a spell. If so, and if you're a low initiative roll, you have the chance of being struck before the spell goes off. Okay, so he casts it. So I guess I should have said that before I rolled initiative. Okay, so he blessed. He's going to do a blessing, and that's going to give Shandor +1. So, all right, so our Null um, is going. So now Shandor is going to attack with +1, and he does get his strength bonus. So he's gonna. It's probably not going to even really be a full move, but he's just going to move up and attack the Null. 15 plus strength, 16. And with the strength bonus, or with the blessing, that's 17. So that finally strikes through the Knoll's armor, and he's got a long sword, so that's 1d8. And that's going to be 4 against the Knoll. And kind of want it to be a surprise how much the HP the Knoll has. Um, Actually, I'm going to go ahead and roll the Knoll's hit points because it's what, 4 hit dice. What is the hit die though? Does it say? No, it doesn't. Um, okay, so he does 4 damage to the Knoll. So it'll be. And then the Knoll will get his chance to attack, so he's going to turn and face Shandor, and he's going to attack Shandor with his short sword. Um, that's a 14, and AC 14, so he meets it and beats Shandor's armor class, and it's a short sword, 1d6. Okay. Oh, where's the d6? There it is. And that's -2 against Shandor, so takes just make another current HP is -2, and then now we roll initiative again. 9 for the Knoll. Does Lucian want to cast a spell? I guess he could do first aid, but that might not make a lot of sense in combat. And he already did a blessing, so I don't think it would be accumulate. All right, so all right, keep rolling. It's going to be 8, 10. 4. So, okay, so Shandor gets struck. Um, oh wait, I forgot to add his. He's got a shield. So actually, I don't know if he would have been hit. Because that would have been 15. What did the Knoll roll? Was it 14 or 15? Okay, my mistake. We'll just keep playing. He took a hit. Maybe he forgot to pick his shield up, and because they're being attacked in the tent. Okay. Um, so uh, yeah. So it's Shandor's turn. He's gonna strike at the Knoll again, and that is a 9, and that does not hit even with the blessing. And then uh, the Knoll gets his turn to attack Shandor. and he also misses. Um, and then uh, Lucian is going to swing at the knoll with his mace. Maybe he can hit him. Come on. No. Oh man, everybody's missing. Okay, misses again. Divinicus, he's just going to keep running. I'm going to consider he's out of the combat. He's managed to get out of there. The knoll is not really paying attention to him. He's tied up here, so Divinicus is going to be kind of out of the combat. All right, let's go do another initiative check. All right, it's going to be 4, 7, and 2. Okay. All right. So first up is Lucian. He's just going to swing with his mace again. Nope, that's a miss. Noel is going to swing at Shandor again, and that is, I believe that would not hit because he's got +1 from the shield, so that would be a near miss. And then Shandor, he's going to strike it out at the Noel. Come on, come on. 12, and that does not hit. The Knoll is pretty well armored. Um, I may have picked a too strong monster, which was kind of a mistake. Uh, okay, so that's a miss because that would only be a 14, or that would be 14. Um, wait, what is the Knight's skill? The Knight can do Inspire, so let me see. Okay, let me take a drink there for a second. Inspire up to 12, giving companions gain Knight's Charisma bonus to hit. Um, any person friendly to Knight's immediate endeavor. Oh, okay. This ability can be used once per day and lasts a number of rounds equal to the Knight's level. Okay, so it would only work for 1 round. Up to 12 creatures. Okay, so I think we'll use that on the next round. So everybody missed. All right. All right. 2, 8, and 9. Um, okay, so if he uses his Inspire, would that be his action for the combat? Because I think it would be. Um, let me check this. If it says this in the rule book. Saving throws, NPCs. Combat terms. Um, Ranged combat, melee combat, situational modifiers. Okay, dexterity modifies a character's armor class. Okay, I missed that, and because I'm still learning this. So, okay, so our dex bonus does apply to AC. Okay, so I needed to keep that in mind. Um, Charging to weapon fighting, disengaging from combat. Um, okay, all right, so I'm going to say that using the ability, well, I don't know, it's just kind of like he's present. It's not like a spell he has to prepare. So I'm going to say he's using his inspire ability, and so that'll give Lucian, our cleric, another bonus to hit. Um, and okay, so Lucian does get a dex bonus, so I'm going to make a note of that. 10 plus 1 plus 13 gives another plus 1, so that would be 12. Uh, but our knight does not get a dex bonus to his AC. Okay. All right, so yeah, okay, so Chandor is just gonna try to inspire Lucian. I know you can defeat him. Let's do this. And he's gonna swing in with his sword at the knoll. Wow. And he completely misses, and I guess the knoll kind of slips away and dodges, and then Lucian is going to strike with his mace at the knoll. Wow, Telemachus, it's been terrible rolling this evening. So, yeah, he also misses. The +3 bonus does nothing. And then now it's the knoll's turn to attack, and he's going to swing at Chandor uh, with his short sword, and that is going to be also a miss because it doesn't beat his armor class. Okay, all right, so now they've been fighting. I think the Knoll is getting sick of this, and he's going to try to make a fighting disengagement, um, and moves one half their movement rate or less away from their opponent and can disengage from combat. Character suffers no penalty, but they cannot take any other action. So he's just going to try to. I know what the Knoll's going to do. He's going to move out of the tent, and he's going to go toward the other tent. So this is kind of like an inset map. So he's going to start moving toward the other tent because he wants to try and capture a slave from the riverboat crew. And I think he can probably make it into this other tent with other crewmen. And let's see how many crewmen are in here. How many would be in here? What would be a good die to roll? I think D8 would be fine. So there are 6 crewmen. Now they're probably alert. They've probably heard the fighting in here, and they're kind of scared because they're pretty tough, but they're not the kind of people that would want to get into a fight. Actually, I think for NPCs, I want to do like a different symbol. I think a triangle or something. Um, yeah, I think I'm going to do triangle for NPC, circle for a player or monster. Yeah. So, okay, so he's going to go into this tent and he's going to try to attack. Now that does expose him to, I am using an H pencil, because I tend to grind down the HB pencils too quickly. Like this one, I bought this like the other day and I've already like ground it down. So he's going to go into there. And, well, that will expose him to a back attack, but in Castles and Crusades, you can only do one action. So, um, so we still have to roll initiative, I think, because that was his. Or no, I think I goofed because we still have to roll initiative because we had to start initiative over. So, okay, here's what we'll do. So the Knoll is still going to do that, but now it's just going to happen during the initiative order. Okay, so 5, 9, and 7. And Dominicus, he's still disengaged, so he's escaped. He's just kind of hiding out here. Yeah, I was using a mechanical pencil for a long time, and it kept driving me crazy. The lead kept breaking. I mean, I still keep it in my pencil pouch here, but it's nice. I mean, it's a Pentel, and I like how this one feels in my hand, but it was just like kind of triggering me every time I tend to press down a little too hard, I think, and the lead kept breaking and flying into my onto my laptop keyboard or something, and I didn't really like that. So, um, yeah, okay. But I did buy these at there was a like a yeah art store near me that had these, and they're pretty nice. They sharpen nicely. These are my favorite pencils though. These Tombow H, because sometimes you buy the H pencils, and they're not kind of they're still a little they're too kind of light when you write with them, but the Tombow H, it seems it's the lead is nice is hard, but it's still visible. So yeah, and they're quite sturdy pencils. So um, these Generals ones are not, they're not the greatest, but they do get the job done, and they were pretty cheap. It was like 79 cents a piece for these. So yeah, yeah, really, with the paper. Um, that is one thing about Turkey, or not the only thing, but it is a thing I miss about Turkey is uh, the paper products there are really good. You can get really nice notebooks for inexpensive stuff, and yeah, for inexpensive prices. Okay, yeah, back to the adventure. Okay, so now we've done initiative. All right, so okay, so this is just going to resolve an initiative order now. So okay, so the Knoll is going to try to disengage, but Lucian is going to be able to attack first. But he still has a bless going. That's going to continue. So he's going to attack, and he's going to get blessing. Not going to get a strength bonus, and the charisma bonus that only lasted for 1 round because our knight is only first level. So let me 10, 11. Um, yeah, that's not enough to hit the Knoll. And now Shandor is going to attack. That was a 10. Okay. Uh, 10 plus blessing 11, uh, and we don't get a bonus to hit. And strength bonus is going to be a 1, 12, still not enough. The Knoll's armor is pretty good. Um, no, I have not done that, Chris, thankfully. Although I don't know, I could see myself doing that. And then our Knoll is making a fighting disengagement to this other tent. Um, and since these guys are just commoners, I'm just going to give them 4 hit points apiece. No, they should have a little bit more than that, 5 hit points apiece, because they are tough kind of riverboat guys, so they're not, they're not that fragile, but they're just not very good at combat. Um, yeah, so now the Knoll is going to be in here, and now we make another round. So that's a 2, 3, oh, 6, and then I'm just going to roll 1 initiative for all these guys, for the boatmen. 3. Okay. Actually, I should put that over here just so it's clear to me that this is okay. All right, so Shandor will now be here at the Knoll's back. The Knoll is going to try to strike out at one of these guys, but all Shandor can do is move, because you can only do 1 move or attack. Well, let's be a half move because it's really not that far, because his base speed I think is 30 feet as a human. So yeah, he can run, I think, as a half move because they're not that far apart. This is probably only like 6, 8 feet, really. So yeah, half move and then attack. And then, well, that will be his move. And then, uh, no, that is his move. He's going first. My mistake. So yeah, they are bullies and cowards. So I don't think he's going to stick around much longer. Mostly because I picked a way too strong monster from this other monster manual. And these are just first level characters, but I thought, you know what? They can take it. Alright, so Shandor, he made a half move and attack, but he is doing a back attack, so I think that's going to give him a bonus to hit against um, rear attack, +2 bonus to hit. What can you say? Alright, uh, got nothing. Okay. Um, Alright. Uh, Now, Lucian, he will do the same thing. He's going to half move and attack, excuse me, Harnol. 6 plus blessing 7, rear attack plus 2, that would be a 9, still not enough. Okay, now, and the boatmen go at the same time, so they're all just going to make a hasty retreat. I'm just treating them as one thing for ease of play, so they're all going to, they're just going to try to make a hasty retreat out of the tent this way, um, and but that will expose them to a back attack, one of them to a back attack by a Null, so he's going to strike, try to hit. They're not going to have any armor, so they're just going to have 10 for the regular armor class. Null hits one of them and strikes him for 4 damage. And since the Null is a slave taker, I'm going to make him do a, he's going to try to do a strength check, or should it be dexterity? Because dex would be like to grab this guy while he's wounded. Because I'm in my mind that this Null has like a lasso or like a net or something. Probably more like a lasso, yeah. He's gonna have a lasso to try and rope him. So he's going to what is he going to do? Yeah, first level is tough. I mean, like I said, this monster is really tough, actually. And I thought, oh, they can do it. They'll be able to, rack up some hits. And the dice are not on their side this evening. So, um, yeah. So I'm just gonna say the Null, for my purposes, will have a prime in dexterity to do this, like to grab this guy and kind of like try to run away with him. Um, and he's going to need a 12 or better. Okay, 12. So the Null strikes this guy down. He sees his chance, picks him up, and lassos him. But that's his move for the round. So he's got this boatman on his back. So this kind of does lead into a conundrum. So and I'm like the player and the castle keeper here. So, okay, so if one of our cleric or knight get a hit, would they accidentally hit the boatman who only has 2 hit points left? If they miss, could they accidentally hit the boatman? So I think in this instance, I'm going to say, to make it interesting, if they get a 6 or less on the D20, that they accidentally hit the boatman, kind of like strike him incidentally, for D4 damage, because they could accidentally kill him, and that could introduce some interesting possibilities for us. Okay, so let's go ahead and so we've got one boatman is been captured, and these others have run out, and yeah, and now we do another initiative. Okay, so 3. Uh-oh. 1. Okay, 9. And the other boatman, we'll just do 1 symbol. Well, I'll just do 3 just to represent that it is a group. So they're out. It's going to be a 2. And Divinicus, he's pretty much disengaged. So these guys, both the remaining boatman and Divinicus, our treasurer that we're escorting, he's disengaged. So they're disengaged out here. Okay. Oh, well, I'm glad you like this. This is kind of something new for me, so I wasn't sure if this would be like just weird, like looking at me kind of um, flipping through the books and making notes and stuff. So, okay. Um, all right. So okay, Shandor. All right. So he's really upset that this guy, this Noel slaver, has captured one of the boatmen, and he's a knight, so he really wants to rescue this guy. So I think he's going to try to just, stab with his sword, making sure he hits the Noel. Well, no, he doesn't hit the Noel. He got a 6, which is what I just said, and so in trying to strike the Noel just right, he accidentally slashes the boatman and kills him, and the boatman slumps, and our knight Shandor is horrified, um, and his face goes white, and Lucian is also shocked, um, and then the Knoll notices this, turns in anger, and then makes his attack against Shandor, and does not pierce Shandor's armor, or it just goes to hit his shield with his short sword, but it bounces off. And then now it's Lucian's turn, and he rolls with his mace to attack. And even with the blessing and strength, no, he doesn't have strength bonus. That is a miss, and he will miss. Okay, I think at this point the Knoll, he's thinking about just cutting his losses, and he is, yeah, he's going to make a hasty disengagement, and on his move, oh no, we have to do another round. Okay, but he will make a hasty disengagement, so go ahead and roll initiative again. 10 for the Knoll. Okay, he might just cut and run. That might be the end of this combat. 6 and 5. Yeah, so our Knoll, he's just going to make a hasty disengagement, and I think that will get him off the field. And I think our knight and our cleric are both happy, more than happy to be done, and they kind of just let the Knoll run off into the night. But they now have a dead riverboatman on their hands, and they're both kind of standing there. Um, and Lucian is saying the prayers of his order, priestly order, um, for the dead. And now the other riverboatmen have gathered around in this kind of moonlight, seeing their companion that's been killed. But now we know that there's some kind of gnolls in this area. Um, and yeah, yeah. So yeah, the gnolls might be angry because this guy was probably one of their really tough slave hunters, and he is going to go back to the gnoll nest, and we should give the gnoll a name. Okay, how long was that? So how long is a round of combat in this game? Um, combat round. Just sorry, I'm just trying to keep the time. So one combat round is 10 seconds long. And how many rounds did we have? So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that was 90. All that happened in 90 seconds. Okay. Uh, well, I don't know. I was a wrestler, and that makes when you wrestle on the mat, like 6 minutes seems like an eternity. So it was 90 seconds. So it's really only a little after. So it's nine, uh, yeah, 9:31 p.m. And the knoll, wounded, escapes. One riverboatman is killed. Uh, okay, now that I know the sense of time, this can make this work. So okay, so now the crewmen that were on the shore, they were there to kind of cook and kind of just get off the boat for a little while. So they've gathered around. They see their companion is dead. Um, our knight, being a honorable knight, he is horrified that he has accidentally killed this guy in an attempt to rescue him. And the captain and the first mate have come off the boat and sees what's happened. And well, okay, Shandor is not going to lie. He wouldn't do that. So he's going to tell him that the captain that he has in the scuffle in the melee, he accidentally killed one of his crewmen, and he feels horribly about this, and he is forever in the debt of the riverboat captain. Um, but how does the captain react? Because he's not necessarily the best guy, maybe. So I don't have a reaction table. I think AD&D has something like this, but I don't have any of those books. Let me see if this Dungeon Master's Guide is something like that. Let me see. Non-player characters, NPC attitudes, 128. Maybe that can give us something. If there's something randomized that could make this more interesting. I mean, I could make it up, but for me playing this, NPC attitudes. Circling the Null. That's a good one. Yeah, I'm going to use that one, Chris. Yeah, okay. Well, okay, we can give traits to the riverboat captain, so let's do that. Let's just do that. This is a fun little thing. So we'll just make a D100. Some of these are not um, personality traits, but yeah, we'll just go ahead and roll and see what we get for our captain. So that's a 26. So he is. Oh, does this skip 26? 25. Is there a mistake? What? Did I? Look at that. Okay, I guess there is just a mistake. Okay, so we're going to re-roll because there is no 26. That's what meandering Mike now. Yeah, I mean it's there's nothing there. So okay, let's just roll and all right. 71. Okay, overbearing. Okay, let's give him another trait. So he's overbearing, 33. Nervous eye twitch. Okay, I can kind of a character is starting to come into view now. Okay, uh, and 16. He stutters. Do we want to give him one more trait? Okay, my headset says it's running out of batteries, so I think I'm gonna have to disconnect it. Hang on a second. Where is the? And let me check the battery on the phone. Okay, I might have to connect to the power outlet somehow. Okay, let me get the. Hang on. Okay, let me just roll this real quick, and then I have to get the phone cord. 23. So he is unusual skin color. Okay, maybe he's got like okay, yeah. So our boat captain, he is really tan, like from being on the boat all day, like really leathery, kind of weird, just outside too much. Really overbearing, eye twitching. Oh yeah, jaundiced. That's a good idea, Chris. Yeah, jaundiced. And he says, I knew I never should have taken this contract. This is ridiculous. Now one of my crewmen is dead. I'm gonna have to pay insurance indemnity. You people are disgusting. I never ever should have done this. Okay, let's see if our cleric, if Lucian can get him to calm down. So let's make a charisma check, but he's not very good at charisma, so it's going to be an 18 plus his level, so he's going to need a 19 or better. 16. Okay, so Lucian goes to him and says, "Please, I've this we can't. This is the will of the divines, and we cannot." Be so angry right now. This doesn't help anyone, sir. We understand you're upset, but please, Shandor was acting in accordance with justice. He was trying to protect your crewmen, I assure you. And then the boat captain, we'll call him. What should the boat captain's name be? Because he might be like a more permanent NPC, so we should give him a name. Okay, but he is overbearing. He has an eye twitch. Jaundiced skin. And yeah, I think that's enough. We'll call him, should have kind of a weird fantasy name. Gord. I don't know. That might be too much. Anyway, okay. So we'll think of something, or maybe someone can throw out a name. Okay, so now Shandor, he tries to use his knightly kind of charisma. He says, please, sir, please, I will take this upon myself. I will go find the Gnoll's lair, and I will avenge this, and we can stop this. So no riverboats have to be attacked by these horrible creatures. And oh, Spiro, that's a good one. Yeah, Spiro. Well, yeah, let's go. Okay, 11. Okay, he actually succeeds. So Shandor actually succeeds because this is a prime attribute. So you need a 12 to succeed on one of your prime attributes. So Shandor says this, manages to calm him down finally. And he says, fine, I hope none of them come back. We'll deal with this in the morning, but everyone get back on the boat. And if we have to, we'll just cut the rope and row away immediately if they come back in greater numbers. So, yeah, okay. Okay, let me just go grab the power cord to my phone real quick. And I guess it'll be like kind of a little 2-minute break kind of thing. What are you doing, mister? Okay. Yeah, we do have. Yeah, we do. I think though I need to get a better just monster book. I could probably just find something online like that's got some monster profiles that I could use. But we do have the Gnolls. Mostly because when I got this book, I just like this artwork of the Gnolls. They look pretty like tough, and I kind of like it as sort of a different, just something different from like orcs, because that's like the usual Tolkien-esque kind of enemy. But I don't know. I think for this world, having like Gnolls around also makes more sense because, you've got they're kind of like hyenas, I guess. So, they're kind of around this kind of steppe area. And we can work into the narrative, the human steppe confederations, they also have to fight the Gnolls. So that's probably why they seek out the kingdom of Jagelin to protect them. So, wow, this was just the first stage on the journey. So okay, so if we have 2 inches, I'm going to draw a little like line to represent the boat journey. So let's see. So 2 inches like that, and I'm saying every 1/4 inch is like the stations. So got that. Let me just mark this out real quick. Okay, so this is the day one. Okay, well, I'm just going to number this. How about that? Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, have a good night, Chris. Yeah, I'm probably going to wrap this up soon because it seems like we've had a lot of action for the first day of the campaign. So we've got 8 stations. So this is day 1. Yeah, so I've had a week's journey downriver. That would kind of make sense, you know, fast, kind of fast rowing. I mean, they are rowing against the current probably, but you know, let's say these guys are pretty tough and they're good. Or maybe they have some kind of light kind of magic that helps them, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, 8 days. So yeah, so that was day 1. So we can put a check that they reached that stage. And so Shandor has managed to kind of calm the camp down, but they've broken the camp, and now they're back. Everyone's just back in the boat. And they're going to stay in the boat overnight. And I don't think any gnolls are going to come. Yeah, I don't think so. So with that, yeah, I think that'll be it for now, for today. So, should probably see if there's like a, oh wait, see, this is why I got my tablet out, because, okay, but he did take 2 damage, so I'm going to make a note of that in our little diary here. Gods and Legends. Okay, but I have to get the... I don't want the book, though. I don't want to have to buy the book. Is there just someone that has, is there just some kind of, like, site that just has, like, no profile, maybe? Okay. Well, I should probably be doing this like after the stream is over, but let me see. I'm just trying to see if there's something better for doing this. Let's see. RPG, null, profile, or like a stat block. Description. So this is from this. I'm looking at the Forgotten Realms one, but they don't really have like a stat block. What if I use 3E? No, that doesn't. 2E. Okay, wonder if I could use. Okay, this is a 5th edition D&D stat block, but I feel like I could use this for the next session. Oh, thanks, Telemachus. Okay. Yeah, let me, I'm going to write that down. From Knave 2nd edition. Yeah, I mean, that works, though, because, I mean, it's all kind of the same basic components. So HP 8, level 2. I don't know if that is relevant to Castles and Crusades, but, yeah, AC level 2, 2d4 attack. Okay, yeah. Movement 30, and what's NA D6, 3d6? I think I'm still going to bookmark. I'm going to bookmark this one too, just to have it as reference. Let's see, can I bookmark this one? Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, number appearing. Okay, thanks. So D6, okay. Okay, that's useful. Thanks for that, Telemachus. Okay, all right. Well, I think I'm going to be done with, like, playing, so for those of you who are still around, just to kind of, what did we do? So, I mean, I did a lot of, like, the kind of boring character creation stuff, and Telemachus, since you came in late, so our basic scenario... We have the Kingdom of Jagalon. They're sending a new kind of team up to this fort that's up here on this bend in the river, and one of the steppe nomads. They're kind of spring pasture village is here on the river, and they've requested this fort. So this is like a stockade kind of mud brick fort. Okay, in Turkish they call it a palanca. I don't know what that is in English, but yeah, so it's like wood with mud brick kind of thing. And it's not huge, but it's just got like 2 buildings. So you got a garrison, and we've got, so the way the Kingdom of Jagalon likes to do things, so they send a knight to kind of command the mercenary garrison, or the garrison troops, a cleric for spiritual needs and for healing, and then they send a treasurer to manage the finances and the revenue. And we have our treasurer, who's like not really a class, adventuring class. He's just an NPC. I did roll him some stats, but he doesn't have a lot of hit points. He does have some decent other stats, though. So I said at the beginning, he's like, probably was like recruited from a rural area, so he's like kind of strong from like that kind of farm work upbringing, and he is smart, but and kind of charismatic, but he's not really a frontline kind of fighter or any kind of fighter. So that's the basic setup. And then since on my map here, I measured this is like 2 inches. I said that, this is like kind of the stages of the river journey is like divided into 8. So like about 8 days by river. The scale is kind of off, obviously, but yeah, I think it works. So that's what's going on. And I think I need better, in terms of what I can improve, I think I'm going to need some more extensive like encounter tables. I'm sure there's probably some OSR stuff like that for free online somewhere. I mean, there is the stuff in this D&D book that was kind of helpful. Like this was nice, like the NPC features. But like the most of the encounter tables in here are for dungeons, and at this juncture, I don't see us having a lot of dungeons. That's not really that kind of scenario that I have in mind. So, yeah. So that's what's going on. I hope. I think this could be continuing. I can probably continue with this over the summer, even when I'm traveling. It'll probably be easier than doing it with doing war games, because I don't need any miniatures. I can literally just do this all with a notebook and pens and pencils. So that's nice. And I have an older version of Castles and Crusades. Like the free PDF of the player's handbook, so I can just load that onto my tablet and use it like that. So yeah, I think this could be interesting. Well, now we know there's a Knoll group, slaving group active somewhere in this area here. And so our knight probably, whenever I can do another one of these, our knight is going to try to go attack the Knoll hideout. And there could be some slaves there that need to be freed. And yeah, so yeah, I hadn't done a stream in a while, and I, still not really super in the mood to paint, but I thought this would be good to try something new and play this RPG idea I had and just do it myself. And with you guys in the chat, it's kind of nice because I can get feedback and things like that. So yeah, so we'll see how far our adventurer, well, they're not really adventurers, they're in service to Kingdom of Jagalon, so they have a patron. Yeah. I came up with this world I had a map before, but I don't know where it is, so I had to draw a new one. But I tried to keep it as similar as I could. What is the map size miles? That's a good question because I did not really think about that when I was drawing this. But, you know, the cities you can think of as like pretty sizable. Well, these are kind of medium-sized, like kind of medieval Renaissance type cities. Blackspire is like really big. And they use kind of like a Magitech kind of thing. Same with this one. This is a pretty big city. Yeah. And I'm not really sure what the map size should be because I just kind of measured and said that, okay, it's like probably like 2 inches more than that, just to give some kind of interval to the river travel. But I'm not really sure what the appropriate scale of this should be for like a world map. Because the continent is, let's see, I think this part is sticking out the furthest. It's like 10.5 inches. So I'm not sure really what the proper scale would be. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say for now. Unless people have, if y'all are, those of you who are still hanging out, if you have any comments or suggestions how we could continue. I mean, we kind of already have something that's a detour, which I sort of wanted to happen. And we've already generated kind of a story, so yeah. Maybe 100 miles an inch. Yeah, that's a good idea, Telemachus. Because that would be, if it's, let's see, we'll call it 10.5 inches. Every inch is 100 miles. And that would be what? Yeah, 1,500 miles. No. 100 times 10. 1,000, and then half. 1,050 miles. Yeah, I guess that would be kind of big. Because, let's see. North America, like the continental United States, is like how far across, I think. It's probably like 2,000 miles, right? Bigger than England. Yeah, that's true. Okay, contiguous U.S. is 2,800 miles east to west. Yeah, that makes sense then. Because, I mean, there's still, like, the whole eastern part that I haven't drawn, and I don't know if I really want to draw it. I kind of want to keep it a little mysterious. UK is 683 miles and 302 miles. Yeah, that's pretty small. Okay, well, thanks, Telemachus. So I can go ahead and add a map scale. So 1 inch is 100 miles. So, yeah, there'll be 200 miles by boat that they're traveling. Yeah. Okay, that's helpful. And well, now that I've run this with two player characters, depending on what happens with the gnolls, I could roll up maybe another adventurer type character that the gnolls have captured. That would be interesting. Yeah, we could do that. Maybe a ranger, or there aren't really wizards in this world. Wizards are all evil. So yeah, this world magic, you can do it, but it's like arcane magic, in like RPG terms, is evil. And if you do it, you suffer consequences, even if you go into it with good intentions. Divine magic is different, but yeah, arcane magic, the wizards are evil, or at least like chaotic neutral and extremely unpredictable, because the magic warps their mind. It's also rare, because my idea is this is could be like a far future Earth, and all throughout the steppe regions, there are ruined cities that were the result of some kind of, I don't know, 20,000 years in the future Earth kind of thing. The continents have all shaped. I don't know if I want to really do that, but that's my thinking. And, there are ruined cities all around here, and, and all that stuff. Yeah. But what that relates to the magic is kind of the old tech that's been repurposed, but maybe the tech was magical, but the only people that can really use it are the people in Black Spire, and they manufacture a lot of things using this kind of magic to change sort of the biology of different creatures. And they live in creepy castles like this, or towers. So, yeah. And these guys, this is supposed to be like a laughing kind of snake. That's like the idea with the picture. Yeah, radiation. So, yeah, that's the idea. Yeah, that's about it. I think for play this evening. But yeah, so we've got a knight and we've got a cleric, and wonder what we could just pick up a fighter, maybe. But we've got yeah, well, let's see, because apparently the ranger in Castles and Crusades is really good. Okay, do druids have to be neutral in Castles and Crusades? Let me see. Because we could get a druid from one of the steppe nations. That could also work. Neutral. Any neutral... Well, okay, I guess it could be neutral good for disposition. Druids live in harmony. Okay, but are druids arcane spellcasters? Druid uses divine magic. Okay. So... well... Okay, well, they have a picture of a druid that's like in a desert, so it doesn't have to be in woodlands necessarily, I guess. Oh, okay. Woodland stride is like is more like a kind of yeah, it's not woodland exactly. I see. Yeah, let's look at the ranger. Paladin. Ranger. Well, yeah, Ranger would be good to represent another, like a possible person from the steppe nation. So, yeah, like a horse archer, nomad. And I think Ranger would be a good fit for that. And in this world, I think I would say, if I was ever to run this for a gaming group, I would say a ranger is going to be from the steppe, and he's going to have a horse automatically. You're going to have because there's a horse, you can go to the equipment list. Missile weapons. Yeah, here we go. Like a light war horse to represent like a, kind of like Mongol style horse. Or a war pony. It's probably war ponies probably for like halflings or gnomes or dwarves, I guess, if I'm guessing. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, this is a pretty good system. I'm liking it so far. Not too crazy, not the pretty rules light, and yeah, I like this. I will not be doing the one-to-one times, so I guess don't tell Mr. Wargaming. I'm just going to be playing this normally. So the next time I play, it's going to pick up on day 2. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. Anything else? So, I don't know what'll happen, because our characters can't really... They can't just, like, go up an adventure. Yeah, I'm sure he will. But, they're not really, like, the kind of people that can just, like, say, oh, I'm going off. I mean, they could, but they're not going to do that. Not the cleric and not the knight, and not the treasurer, because all their jobs are on the line. So it's not going to be like traditional adventuring. It's going to be more like managing this fort, and I'll have to think about what to do when we get there. If the players survive and the treasurer NPC survives, they will yeah, like how much income they're going to have. I think I'll do a D100 roll for that, to see how much income is left in the treasury. Maybe it was looted. Maybe they weren't collecting taxes efficiently. Who knows? Yeah, we'll see. Okay, that'll be helpful, Telemachus, because like I said, the encounter charts in the 3.5 DMG were a little disappointing from what I thought. So, yeah. I was saying earlier before you popped on, I was looking at the Urban Encounters one, and I thought, well, this is a Wizards of the Coast book, so I'm sure it's like, oh, well, if you want the full city encounters, you need to buy the city book, and you need to buy the wilderness book. So yeah. But I have a sentimental attachment to this edition just because these were the first D&D books I got. So, but now I can kind of see that it's really technical sometimes, but not unplayable by any means. Okay. All right, I think since we're approaching 3 hours, I'm going to call it a night. It is getting a little late, and I got things to do tomorrow. So thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this one. First stream in a while, and I will talk to you all in the next stream, hopefully. See you.